it going? Few decisions to make this week, few injuries, few worries over Newcastle, team sheets, Rashford, etc. Lots to discuss, I'm sure, in the next hour and a half. Is anyone actually feeling pretty calm? I'm calm-ish. I don't know if I should play Rashford though. That's my problem. I might switch Rashford to the bench. I'm now more worried about Rashford news than I am about Newcastle news, to be honest. I'm fairly confident that Isak's going to start, so therefore I'm going to captain him. And then just hope for the best. But I guess in an hour or so's time we might get news about Wilson and Isak. Let's see. I wouldn't count on it though. I don't think it's a guarantee. I think it's a guarantee we get that news. Sheriff, how's it going? Rank Robertson, Shaw, Stones. If I lead the strikers in 37, is Wilson better if he starts against Leeds? Logic is bench Brighton and starts 37. Yeah, possibly. But if they both start, then you're in trouble, right? What happens then? I did think that last night, though. If they both start Leeds and then Isak starts Brighton, that means Wilson's probably better for Leicester. I think I said that earlier on this week, right? Wilson could get Leeds and Leicester. So for 36, Isak might be slightly better. But overall, for the next 2 game weeks, Wilson might be slightly better. It's really hard to know, though. Rank Robertson, Shaw, Stones. I'd probably put Shaw, then Robertson, then Shaw, then Stones, then Robertson, probably. Which is a bit weird because I really want to play Trent, but he's got more attacking threat, hasn't he? Seb on golf. Bench Bruno last time and it hurt me. Rashford feels different. Okay, so interestingly, there was Phoenix. Was it not playing? Phoenix should have been playing. Anyway, I looked up what Ten Hag said about Bruno and what he said about Rashford. So for Bruno, he said, we will have to see how he is. We don't know yet. He is a question mark. It has to settle. So he did use the term question mark, which he did for Rashford, but he just said he is a question mark, it has to settle. For Rashford, he said big question mark, doubtful, more than doubtful. So whatever the injury was to Bruno, whatever the injury is to Rashford, it does seem worse for Rashford. And I think the thing that's making me panic a little bit about it is I've got a double game weeker literally sat there that I could just play instead. But if Rashford starts, it's a bit annoying. And I know everyone will just write off. They'll just say, oh, there's no chance of him being benched and coming on. But there is a chance, no matter how small you think it is. So that's what I'm a bit worried about. Is Ten Hag bluffing? I don't think so. I don't see why he would bluff. I mean, he could be playing mind games with Wolves because top 4 is... top 4 is obviously getting tight now. I don't know if Rashford was in training. I think I saw some people discussing that he might have been in training earlier on in the week, but not later on in the week. I don't know if we've had training photos for that. So yeah, I think he probably is injured. It's just what is the severity? That's what we've got to work out, which we're not going to know, obviously. Good morning. -4 Alvarez to Isak Wilson captain and bring Alvarez back next week for the double. I don't think Alvarez is going to be great for double game week 37 for what it's worth. So if you really want to captain one of the Newcastle boys, that looks pretty good. I think in game week 37, like there could be rotation, absolutely, but I think we're likely to see more of the team that's starting in the Champions League. So Alvarez probably isn't going to get many minutes in double game week 37, would be my guess, because I think Harden and De Bruyne will both play in both games if they're fit. Which they might not be, I guess. George, have 2 free transfers to do Jota and Greenwood to Wilson and Isak, or March and Greenwood to Mac 10 and Isak. Jota and Greenwood to Wilson and... Oh, okay. Or March and Greenwood to Mac 10 and Isak. I mean, getting rid of the guy that's injured probably makes more sense. Jota might even start this week. I think Mac 10 and Isak makes more sense on paper, but Wilson and Isak might be a bit more fun. A lot of people looking at that this week. March to Mac 10 for a -4 or play Solanke. Who have Bournemouth got? Why can't I remember who Bournemouth have got? Palace away. I'd be tempted just to play Solanke. The thing is, I think if the hit benefits you, I think if the other part of the hit also benefits you, I'd be tempted to do it because McAllister's got 4 games in the next 2 game weeks. So I'd be tempted to do it. If both Wilson and Isak are starting today, would you buy both if you could for free? Excuse me, my hay fever is playing up today. I guess maybe, but the thing is, he uses that second free transfer. So again, it's a bit like the Alvarez punt last week. Is the punt on Wilson this week more valuable than just having that spare transfer for game week 38? I mean, it may well be, right? Because you're getting an extra fixture. But I think in game week 37, having both of them is not necessarily that... I mean, they could both start that game against Leicester, maybe, but I don't think it's hugely beneficial. So, I don't know. I think the fact I'm hesitating probably tells you how I am worried about Wilson. I am worried about Wilson, but would I buy him? I don't know. Maybe. I don't think it's a definite yes. That's all I would say. March and Rashford out for Mahrez and Willock in. I don't think... I suspect you've probably got a good bench. I don't think there's a rush to sell Rashford personally, so I'd maybe just do March to Willock and leave it at that. Can you talk me through the Trippier captain if Isak doesn't start? For me, both Matoma and Mac 10 are miles clear of Trippier. I don't know about miles clear. I mean, I probably will just end up switching to an attacker, but I don't really mind Trippier. I think everyone's down on him because they're just not keeping clean sheets. But those kind of things can change very quickly. I think Newcastle can get one clean sheet out of these two games, and then he's got that attacking threat on top. That's all that can Trippier walk away from this double game week with a 10-point plus haul? I think he's capable of that. And I think the fixtures are easier than they are for Brighton. But obviously their attack is very good. Like, if McAllister plays deep in both games, am I that excited about him? I mean, Mitoma's probably the one I would go to. I don't know. To be honest, I guess I haven't really given it a huge amount of thought because I am expecting Isak to start, to be honest with you. The thing is, on that Wilson question, I guess if he starts Leeds, it is hard to turn down, right? It is hard to turn down the punt. The thing is, for me in game week 38, it's easy to say, like, you know, going to take all these punts and stuff. I'm probably going to end up making two quite boring moves. But it's not even necessarily getting, like, that super exciting differential. It's just that we know from past experience there can be quite a bit of rotation. So, yeah, I'm not completely sure about that. I don't know if Mac's numbers are quite as good, but I haven't looked into it probably as much as you have. Like, they weren't great for a long time. I mean, they have been pretty good recently, to be fair. But, like, against Wolves, they weren't great. But then I guess he only played 25 minutes, actually. You can't hold that against him. Yeah, I mean, I like McAllister. I'm not sitting here telling you Matoma and McAllister are bad options. I just don't... I think everyone's written off Trippier when earlier on in the season he couldn't do any wrong, and I just think that he's probably somewhere in between instead. And I just like the fixtures for Newcastle better than for Brighton. I'd probably switch to an attacker, but ultimately it doesn't matter. Isak's going to start, and I'm just going to captain Isak. So I've not really given it that much thought. Which probably isn't a good thing, because if Isak doesn't start, then I'm in panic mode 10 minutes before the deadline, and I'm not quite sure what I would end up doing. I do have enough money to do Isak to Wilson, but I don't really want to use my second transfer. So I suspect I would probably go to, I don't know, Mitoma probably. Or Trippier. We'll see. Come back 10 minutes before the deadline, and I'll think about that a bit more. Davern, 22 months. Thank you very much. Keep Kane or bring in Isak or Wilson or carry the transfer into next week. I mean, I guess in that scenario, it really depends on who you're happy to captain. Like, if you really don't want to captain anyone else other than a Newcastle forward, I think you make the move. And then you use that money to either get Kane back next week or you put it into midfield or something like that. If you're happy captaining a Trippier or a Mitoma or a McAllister, something like that, then I'd maybe just keep Kane and roll the transfer, to be honest with you. Bench 2, Estepinian, Shaw, Foden, Rashford. I don't know if Foden's going to start. I'm a bit torn on that. I don't know if Grealish needs another rest. So I don't think it's a guarantee that Foden starts. So I would probably play Estepinian and then either Rashford or Shaw. I'm currently on Rashford. That might change before the deadline. I might switch him out for Estepinian, to be honest. Duncan, 4 months. Thank you very much. Gone double Newcastle attack. Who should I swap Rashford for on my bench? Dallo, Grealish, Stones. I would be tempted just to play Grealish. I think there's a chance he starts. I think I would start. I don't know. I don't want to like spend the next hour saying that I would start Rashford and then I don't end up starting him. Like that is a reality. There is a chance that I'm just going to bench Rashford. But if you're already decided that you're going to bench him, I think I would play Grealish ahead of Stones and Dalot. For what it's worth, there probably is a really good chance that Dalot starts this week. But it's not guaranteed. I guess it's not. I don't know. What do people think about Grealish? 2 benches in a row? Does he need that? I've got a feeling he's going to start. Even after Grealish's comments about cramp. Yeah, but cramp doesn't take that long to get over, right? It's a bit... Maybe he'll be too tired, but I don't know. It's hard to call. I think there's a chance he starts. I think people are saying there's going to be mass rotation. I don't know if it's going to be as much as we're expecting. It never happened before. Yeah, maybe. I don't think cramp is going to keep a player like Grealish out. To be honest, from Wednesday. When was it? Wednesday or Tuesday? It was Tuesday, wasn't it? So do you think, can Grealish really not recover from cramp from Tuesday to Sunday? I think we might be overplaying that a little bit. Now, obviously, he might want to just rest him because there's a game, Champions League, midweek. I don't know. The thing is, I just don't know. We could spend the next hour discussing this. I don't know if Grealish is going to start. That's my final answer. All I'll say is I think it's more like 55. There we go. We're back now. We're back. Sorry. I don't know what you heard, but I said I'd probably put 55-45 Grealish starting. I also think Alvarez starting ahead of De Bruyne is more likely than Foden ahead of Grealish. But again, I could absolutely be wrong on that. I could absolutely be wrong. I need to change the music. 0.6 million in the bank, 1 free transfer. Want Wilson or Isak? Take Solanke out, still 0.9 short. I could downgrade someone else on my team. Kepa, Edison, Trippier, Shaw. 0.9 million is a lot to make up. I don't think there's any players there I would want to downgrade. I guess Edison, because then you can just play Kepa next week in double game week 37. I think Edison's probably the best one to downgrade out of all those, but I wouldn't really want to sell any of them. Which 2 to bench from Rashford, Dunk, Grealish, Alvarez? I mean, do I put my money where my mouth is? I think I just can't tell you who's going to start for Man City. That is the reality. I think Alvarez is more likely to start than Grealish. So I'll say Alvarez and Rashford. But again, I may bench Rashford later on. This deadline stream is going to be rubbish. I don't know who's starting for Man City, and I could well just play Rashford later on. I'm really just hoping we get some Rashford news from somewhere. It's just very unlikely. It's tough. I don't want to miss him starting, but I also don't. If Rashford is on the bench, that is an absolute killer when you've got a double game week sat there. And that's what I'm worried about. So what would I feel worse? What would I feel worse? If I bench him and he starts, or if I start him and he's benched? It's tough. Do we typically get Newcastle team news? We did last week, but it's not a guarantee. The guy that we got it from last week did say he doesn't always get it until... Sometimes it'll be like an hour... only an hour ahead, so it wouldn't help us. Did you say Bruno's injured as well? No. I was just talking about the last time Bruno was injured and what Ten Hag said, just to see if it was similar to what he said about Rashford. Triple Brighton doesn't feel as good as it did a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, sure, because they've just lost 5-1 to Brighton, but I don't know. I'm not particularly worried about it. It's done its job. Now they've still got two double game weeks in a row. I'm kind of fine with it, to be honest. Not really that worried. Yeah, by the way, there's nothing wrong with Bruno Fernandes as far as we know. I was just talking about the quote that Ten Hag said when he had that ankle boot on. Or the boot for his ankle, whatever it was. Do we have any previous of Ten Hag overplaying the series of injuries? I don't think so. Yogesh, -8. Tony March, Bruno and Stones out. In Isak, Mac 10, Odegaard and Trent. I mean, initial instinct is I don't like that hit. Like, you just do Tony to Isak. Can you not do Tony... I don't know why you have to do Bruno and Stones to Odegaard and Trent, to be honest with you. Like, don't get me wrong, Trent is great, but I don't know if you need a -8 to bring him in. Can you not do Tony to Isak and March to Mac 10 for free? I mean, Tony's more expensive than Isak, so I'm pretty sure you can afford that. I wouldn't take the -8. I don't think Bruno and Stones are worse than Odegaard and Trent. Not for 8 points. Might have to downgrade Edison, then sell Trent next week for a City defender for the double. Thoughts on both? I mean, downgrading Edison, maybe if that's your only choice. I wouldn't go out of my way to do it. Selling Trent next week, yeah, some people are going to be in that position. I think it could be worth it, but it is a home game against Villa. But I was looking at that as well. What I would say is wait and see what happens next week, because you might get an injury or something, and then you've got to transfer a different player out and you end up keeping Trent. You know, similarly to this week, I was thinking about Trent to a City defender. Then March went and got injured, so I'm just selling him instead. So I think if you've got Trent and you're planning on selling him, my main piece of advice would be hope that something happens where you don't have to sell him, and it just makes life so much easier. Play Kepa or Raya. I'm going to... do you know what? I said Kepa on the video yesterday, and I was listening to the BBC Football Daily podcast, and they were talking about how many goals Forest has scored recently. I was like, oh, God, should I have said Kepa? They scored 10 in the last 4 games. And I was like, oh, God, now I'm panicked. Who did they play, though? I mean, Southampton, fair enough. Brighton, really good result. They scored 2 against Liverpool away. They scored 3 in the last 2 away games, and this one's Chelsea. I'm going to stick with Kepa. I don't know if that's right though. Honestly, this deadline stream is rubbish. Can we just get to game week 38? Best replacement for March. I only have 5.4 million. I mean, if you've got a Newcastle spot, you could go to Willock. Otherwise, I would maybe take a punt on Gross. The problem is he's probably going to play right back. But there is a chance he plays further forward if Veltman's fit. So otherwise I would just go to Willock, I think. You're flip-flopping. There's just some decisions I don't really have a strong opinion on this week, to be honest with you. Like Rashford, you could bench him, you could play him. I don't really know where I fall on that one. Kepa versus Raya, I'm probably going to stick to Kepa, but Raya's a great option this week. I mean, there are just close calls. Even my Kepa and Edison is a close call. I just don't have strong opinions on it. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I know I probably will flip-flop on Rashford, so I've already prepared you a few times for that. Like, I've got Trippier vice-captain, but if Isak doesn't start, I could well just go and captain Matoma. So it's that kind of week. What about starting Joe Linton over Trippier? I mean, I would want to start both. They got a double game week, right? But I would start Trippier over Joe Linton. Did I consider benching Haaland this week? No, not for a second. I didn't spend any brain power this week thinking about benching Haaland. Best replacement for... Oh, sorry, I did that one. David, thank you very much. Alfred, you reckon we'll get early team news today? Possibly. I mean, obviously, everyone will be looking for it. So, yeah, maybe. I don't think it's a guarantee, though, right? Most of the time, people aren't looking for Newcastle news. Could well happen, though. Who'd start? Alvarez. I don't think we're going to get Rashford news for what it's worth. Who to start? Alvarez, Stone, Martinelli, Estupinian. Probably I think Martinelli and Estupinian are your best bets for minutes. Triple captain Haaland in 37. Yeah, it's probably the best triple captain left yet. Also Salah to Fernandes. I don't know where I fall on Salah to Fernandes. I think Fernandes is better for game week 37. Whether or not that's the best use of a transfer, though, is a different story. But yeah, the reason that I'm hesitant to say that selling Salah in 37 is a good move is because I would want Salah back for 38. It's just probably not worth 2 transfers. If you're going to go Salah to Fernandes, then stick with it. It's probably worth it. But it's probably one we can discuss a bit more next week. Horia, maybe. 8 months member, thank you very much. Jota, March and Botman for Wilson, Mac 10 and Shaw -4. I have to sell Botman because I already have Isak and Trippier. No, I mean, personally, I wouldn't be taking -4s to switch double defence to double attack. I don't know. In your case, maybe it's worth it. Like, Jota probably will start this week, but it is a bit of a minutes concern. March is obviously done pretty much, and Shaw's got a double next week. So I actually don't hate that -4. I think for most people, it's probably not worth going -4 defence to attack. But in your case, because you're selling 2 kind of players that are a bit of a risk, I think that probably is worth it. Plus, it's just more exciting. Obviously, if you can, I would wait until as late as possible to get news, because there is a chance that one of Isak or Wilson doesn't start. My bet is that Isak and Wilson. I don't know. I'm finding it really tricky because I actually have more doubts about Wilson than most people. I think most people are just super confident he definitely gets 1 start and it's probably going to be Leeds. And I get it, but I just have more doubts about that. But I'm like, it's almost like I don't want to express them too much because people are just so convinced Wilson is like a definite start. And I just think even with Longstaff out, it's not guaranteed. I think what's really interesting is, I said this earlier on in the week, I think that Isak and Wilson will start today. And I think against Brighton it'll be Isak and plus someone else on the left. Either Joe Linton if Longstaff's back, or St. Maximin if he's built up enough fitness. But I still have slight doubts over whether Wilson will start today. I think he will. That is where my money would be. I just think that a lot of people think it's 100% guaranteed, and I'm just not quite that sure. What's really interesting, right, and you shouldn't necessarily trust fans, because what they want is not necessarily what Eddie Howe is thinking, but so many Newcastle fans want Isak to play number 9, and they want Wilson on the bench. Not because they think he's awful, but they just want him to be that impact player, and that it's better balance to have a kind of normal left winger, like a Gordon or like a St. Maximin. I think if St. Maximin was fully fit, I'd be really worried about Wilson. But because he's not, and because he was only able to play like 12 to 15 minutes, whatever it was against Arsenal, I think he'll be benched again today. So that's my bet. I think Isak and Wilson start today, and I think Isak only starts Brighton. And that's why I prefer Isak. But you know what? 10 minutes before the deadline, we could easily get a lineup, which is Wilson starting and Isak isn't. And then I'm absolutely in the mud. Absolutely in the mud. Top of the morning. How's it going? Did you know that every Irish person actually says that? Top of the morning. Can't get away from it. Paul, most people will be tripled on Newcastle, United, City and Brighton. It leaves a headache on how to take out Rashford and not take a hit or affect the game week 37 double. For most people, just keep Rashford and just deal with it next week. Like for me, the plan will be next week, Trippier to Stones. And if Rashford is injured for game week 37, I would just do Rashford to Grealish instead. The thing that gives me a real headache is if Grealish goes up in price or Rashford drops before the end of the week. So I only have the exact money to do it. But I think you can just wait on Rashford. No, we're not definitely getting news. Like I've said that a few times already. I think anyone that's expecting, I think you have to be prepared to make your decisions without having the team news. And for me, if we don't get early team news, Isak is the one to buy over Wilson. But again, I'm a little bit more doubtful on Wilson's minutes. If you really want to buy Wilson over Isak, I'm sure there's other deadline streams where you can get that confirmation bias. I wouldn't have too many City players because I would have Grealish, Ederson and Haaland. Like I wouldn't buy Stones if Rashford's injured. I would keep Trippier and just probably bench him instead. Or maybe even play him. Had Ake, March and Rashford. Should I swap Watkins for Isak -4 because now I have no bench due to injuries? Or Rashford to Willock? I would... But the thing is, Watkins is going to play. So Watkins to Isak doesn't help your bench. Right? So, I mean, I'm not saying Watkins to Isak isn't worth a -4. I'd be tempted to do it if I'm not happy with my other captains. But it doesn't help your bench situation. You're going to play Watkins or you're going to play Isak. I don't think I would do Rashford to Willock. I don't think so. Ram, who would you rather bring in, Mahrez or an Arsenal mid? I think I would bring in the Arsenal midfielder because although I think Mahrez will start today, I don't think he starts twice in 37. So I don't think you really get many extra minutes on Mahrez. And also, if Arsenal and Man City both win all their games in 36 and 37, so obviously Man City's got the extra one, Man City will have the League one before game week 38. And I just seen a few people discussing, which I kind of agree with. Even if that title is lost, I think Arsenal will look to play a full-strength side last day of the season against Wolves at home. Whereas with Man City, who knows what the rotation might be like then? It's tricky because if Mahrez probably plays today because he's not going to play in the Champions League, I would assume. So he could also start the first game of 37. So you might get two, maybe 3 starts from him. I think I would just take the safety of the Arsenal midfielder. But that's the kind of boring manager I am. Do I drink Guinness when I go to the pub? Nope. No. Why is no one picking Kane? We all sold him to get Salah, really. Play Dunk or Grealish? I think I would play Dunk. Wonder where Rice will be playing next season. Interesting one, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. Why don't you drink Guinness? I just don't really like it that much, to be honest. Yeah, Arsenal seems to be the one for Rice, but who knows, right? A lot of money. A lot of money at stake. Do they have as much money as West Ham will want for him? Kevin, Money League rival is 3 points ahead. I mean, that's absolutely nothing, by the way. Has identical team, but has Isak. Is going Wilson over Isak this week too risky? I mean, I don't know if Wilson over Isak is the way to worry about 3 points, in all honesty. I'd probably just go Isak. But again, I'm going to say this a lot of times. I mean, I don't even know if it's fair to say I'm biased towards Isak. I'm biased towards Isak because I think he's the better pick. But there's of course a scenario where Wilson smashes Isak this week. It could be one of those game weeks where a lot of people go for Isak. Wilson gets a hat trick against Leeds, and Isak gets the second start, but still doesn't outscore him. So I do think that Isak's probably the better option. But yeah, they did buy Pepe. True, a lot of money, but Rice could easily be 100 plus, right? Plenty of other clubs are going to be in for him as well. He's so good. I really want West Ham to win a European trophy this season. For 3 reasons. 3 reasons, right? 1, they could have easily sacked David Moyes, and they didn't. And so for him then to go and win a European trophy and keep them safe in the Premier League, I like that. Obviously, Mikel Antonio, love the guy. Love him to win a European trophy. But also, it would just kind of be nice for them to get that before Rice leaves. It's inevitable that Rice is going to leave West Ham. And it always happens to clubs like further down the Premier League. They always lose their best players to those at the top. So it'd be really nice for them to get that European trophy before he leaves. So I hope it happens. I hope they go through to the final and win. Because Rice is going, let's be honest. I think everyone realises that. Surely they can't hold on to him any longer. Is there any point paying the extra money to get Share over Botman? I mean, if it's not going to stop you doing anything else, like for future moves, then yeah, I think he is much more of a goal threat. Eddie Howe said, I've seen enough of Isak. Yeah, enough of Isak at left wing, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to read too much into what a manager says in a press conference necessarily, but did you see... Did you watch the video of it? It didn't really seem that upbeat about it. Even after the loss for Brighton, are you still liking the Brighton assets? Yeah, look, things like that happen, right? Weird things happen in football all the time. No one expected Brighton to lose 5-1. I certainly wouldn't expect them to go and lose 5-1 again this season, even against Newcastle away, Arsenal away, Man City at home, etc. So at the end of the day, like, they're very cheap. They've got 4 fixtures in 2 game weeks. It's just not really one to worry about. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, obviously, that West Ham win the trophy. I'm just saying I would like it to happen for those 3 reasons. I'm sure there's other reasons. Right? I'm sure they got other likeable players, but that's my 3 reasons. David Moyes, Mikel Antonio, and it would just be nice for the fans to get it before they lose like one of their best players in years. I mean, who's been better than Rice over the last 10 years? Payet was obviously amazing. Mikel Antonio, of course. Anyway. We can't talk about West Ham too much. They're not relevant for FPL that much. Although they are going to rotate so much that Raya becomes better than Kepa. I hope you know that. Any early Newcastle team news? You'll know it, right? You'll know if we get it. Start Raya or Kepa. I'm going to stick to Kepa, but I'm not quite sure I've got that right. Start Grealish or Shaw. Start Grealish. I guess the good thing is he's probably not going to come on if he's benched, right? Captain Isak or Wilson? I'm going to say Isak, but if they both start against Leeds, go for Wilson if you want. Keeping an eye out. I'm keeping an eye out on the DMs and stuff. The problem is, with now everyone able to buy a blue tick, it's not quite so helpful when someone messages you. Although, to be honest, most people that had a blue tick they haven't bought one. Play Stones, possibly, depends who you're benching. I think Stones will start, if that helps. From a good source, Joselu starts up front for Newcastle. Maybe. It'd be funny if Isak and Wilson don't start. That would be funny. Come on, you have to admit that would be hilarious. It would induce a lot of panic, but it would be really funny because all we've done all week is talk about them, and also they've been transferred in by 1 million FPL managers combined. Like Wilson, 648,000 transferred in. I am worried about him. Have I listened to the podcast with Callum Wilson? I've seen clips, but I've never gone and listened to like a whole episode. Best to worst, Grealish, Alvarez, Estepinian, Henry. I'll say who have Brentford got? Oh, West Ham at home. Estepinian, Alvarez, Grealish, Henry. That's what I'm going to say. I really wouldn't spend too much time on what you'll do if Isak or Wilson don't start, because I don't think it's going to happen, obviously. March and Greenwood to Willock and Enciso, an idea if not in the bank. Yeah, I like that. I like the Enciso punt. I think you get at least 1 start out of him this week and next week. And obviously the hope would be you get 3 to 4. And Willock's nailed. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. If you need to stick to those kind of prices. Free hit on -8 to get Wilson, McAllister and Isak. I don't know if you need to spend a -8 necessarily. I think free hit is well, do you know what? It's hard to know without knowing your full team and giving it a lot more thought than I will have done. But I guess for most people that have got free hit left, it makes sense to use it in 38. But Wilson, Isak and McAllister, they're not necessarily players I mean, McAllister maybe for 37, but you don't need Isak and Wilson from next week. Like, you don't need them. Don't get me wrong. If they start against Leicester, there could be a big score there. So I'm not writing them off, obviously. And look, Chelsea away is not a bad fixture either. But you don't need them. So you could free hit instead of taking a -8. It's just hard to know without... I just haven't given it any thought apart from right now. And, like, what does the team look like? Is Joe Linton nailed? Yeah, Toby, I think I replied to you. But, yes. Joe Linton is basically nailed. He'll either play left wing... if Longstaff's fit, or he usually plays in midfield if he's not. I mean, there is a scenario where someone like Anderson could start in midfield for Newcastle and Joe Linton could play left wing, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's started at all. He's playing for Bristol Rovers last year. I don't think he's had a single start. He played 45 minutes against Forest. I don't know if that was from the start or in the second half. I think he came on in the second half, but I could be wrong. Willock's nailed, yeah. Willock is nailed. I mean, the last time Willock didn't start a game was West Ham away, game week 29, maybe because of the quick turnaround. But he looks fairly nailed outside of that. Yeah, the thing, I'm not... Obviously, Edison could outscore Kepa, and that would be extremely frustrating. But back when I made the wildcard for game week 26, I always knew I was playing Kepa in game week 36. Like, that's how long I've kind of decided on this. And look, stuff has obviously changed since then. Lampard's come in. They are missing a few players. So I am a little bit worried about it. But I think it's close enough that I'm just going to back the guy at home, basically. Jesus March to Ferguson and Gakpo, Luis Diaz punt. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Gakpo probably the better option for minutes. I guess it's one of those I don't hate. I don't know if this now is the right time to get rid of Jesus though. Sell Rashford if it's the only path to Wilson, Isak. I still don't think that's necessarily a good move, to be honest. Like, what if Rashford's back for next week, right? You definitely want him. Look, there's obviously a chance... If the Rashford injury is that bad, there is obviously a chance that he's also not back for 37. But I guess the question is, if he is back for 37, would you rather have Rashford for that double or Isak or Wilson for this one? I don't know. Maybe you take the fitness of those two right now. I wouldn't be that happy about it though. Genre, Edward, March and Trent to Ferguson, Bruno and Stones worth a -8. Or give me 3 extra double game week players next week. Nah, I wouldn't be selling Trent as part of a -8 to get doublers for next week. I don't think. Nope, doesn't sound good to me. Have I decided on a wall? A wall of shame. I have thought about that before. Maybe I should do it. Edison would be the first person on there. Thanks for the -8 question. Start Shaw or Stones? I think I would start Shaw ahead of Stones. Solanke to Ferguson. I'd probably just keep... I don't know. I'd probably just keep Solanke. I don't know how many starts... Like, how many starts do you think Ferguson's getting in the next 4 matches? I think 2 max. He's only just back from injury. I know, maybe he gets 3. Maybe he gets 3, but he always comes off early anyway. Solanke's going to play 80 to 90 minutes in both games. I think I'd probably keep Solanke. If you've got 2 free transfers and nothing else to do, then you could take the risk, I guess. We have only got 3 weeks left, so if you wanted to start doing something a bit different, now is a good time. Trust me, you'll know if there's been Newcastle news. Trust me, you'll know. It'll all be anyone's talking. It'll be the only thing people are talking about. Watkins to Isak / Grealish, or maybe stick with Watkins as differential. No, I'd rather have Isak over Watkins. Thoughts on Lindelof? I think he probably starts today because Varane's only just back from injury. But he is a risk now going forward. I think everyone's now expecting that Varane and Lindelof will play together and Shaw will go to left back. I really wouldn't be so sure about that because Ten Hag really likes a left-footed left centre back. So I think Lindelof. I wouldn't buy Lindelof, to be honest. For Man United defenders, you should really be trying to get Luke Shaw. No one else is nailed. Nobody, not even Lindelof, not Dalot, not Wan-Bissaka, not Malacia. It's only Luke Shaw that's nailed. And De Gea, obviously, but literally not a defender. Not really a goalkeeper. No, he is a goalkeeper. That's a bit harsh. Use my last free transfer this week to get in Botman or Burn. I mean, I actually don't know. Why did I get Botman all those weeks ago? I guess there was a slight worry back in the day when we wildcarded that Matt Target might come in at some point, but that hasn't really happened. I think Dan Burn might be slightly better, to be honest. 0.08 XGI. What's Botman? I think... Do you know what the weird thing is with Botman? I'd probably go for Botman. There's not much in it, though, honestly. Why is no one talking about Almiron? He's just not nailed. Just not nailed. Start Kepa or Raya. I'm going to say... Oh, okay, I'm going to put it in the thing. Start... I'm going to put go with your gut. Honestly, if you prefer going... Like, Raya versus Kepa is one of those decisions that's super close. So if you want to go for Raya, you should absolutely just go for Raya. Like, just because I say Kepa, like, there's hardly anything in it at all. Both got goodish home games. I think look, if West Ham rotate enough, then maybe that becomes the easier fixture. West Ham probably also obviously a bit safer in the league, etc. I just don't expect Forest to go all guns blazing against Chelsea, but I could be wrong. It was actually interesting on the Premier League, sorry, the BBC Football Daily podcast. They were saying how it could be so few points now to stay up. Like, 34 or 35 could keep you up. So, and also, I was saying this on a video the other day. You know how the narrative becomes relegation clubs need to win, so they're going to attack. I heard Sam Allardyce's press conference, and obviously they want to do enough to get the 3 points. But he said we absolutely must not lose. And I do think relegation teams think like that. So Forest going to Chelsea, would they snap your hand off for a 0-0 against Chelsea? I think they would. That'd give them 34 points with 2 games to go. And that might even be enough. Because are Leicester and Leeds going to win 2 of their last 3? Probably not. As a Forest fan, we will score against Chelsea. As a non-Forest fan, you also might not. Yeah, I scored a lot of goals recently, though. I'm a bit worried. I am a bit worried. But it was always the plan. I'm going to stick to the plan. The plan from Game Week 26 wildcard has not changed that much over the last 10 or so weeks. So I'm mostly sticking to the plan. Also, again, by the way, a learning for next year. You know how we all hate to have good benches because there's points on the bench. We hate it when we get the wrong player. How handy has it been to have a good bench with all these like small injuries to Rashford and Fernandes, etc. It just means you don't have to panic sell them if you don't want to. Forest will score. Yeah, Forest might score. Forest might score. There's a good chance. But the other choice is to play Ederson against Everton. Calvert-Lewin going to score? I mean, Man City defence is better. I don't know. I'm going to stick to Kepa. I lost things there. Andreas to Willock or Watkins to Wilson. Have Isak. It probably should be Watkins to Wilson, but Andreas to Willock's not a bad shout because Andreas is obviously out now for the season, I believe. So Willock will at least give you some backup. But if I was having one of those two this week, I'd rather have Wilson. I mean, you're obviously not having to play Andreas, right? So if you can bench Andreas, you probably just do Watkins to Wilson. What kind of world is it where we can't play Ederson against Everton away? You can play Ederson against Everton away. Absolutely. I'm just going to play the guy with Forest at home and hope that the goals that Forest has scored recently dry up. I don't know. I'm a bit worried about Chelsea in general. Maybe I should just play Ederson. Not alone. Oh. What if Ortega starts? I think Kepa versus Ederson is very close. So I've basically decided to go for the guy at home. But now I'm thinking, do I just go with the guy in the better defence? Will I play Kepa in 37 then? Nope. Because Ederson's got better fixtures. I'm not playing Kepa for save points. I'm playing Kepa because I think he's got the better fixture. So I will definitely play Ederson in 37. Unless, if Ortega starts today... Sorry, if Ortega starts against Everton, that would probably worry me enough about 2 starts in 37 for Ederson. But I think he'll play. I'm going to check Chelsea's recent... You got me worried now. I'm going to check Chelsea's recent Stats. 1.2, 1.7, 1.1, 1.8, 2. Oh no, okay, that is Real Madrid to be fair. Brighton. I don't know. I'm going to play Kepa. I think Watkins to Isak is good if you're going to captain Isak. Don't worry about Chelsea. Frank Lampard's their manager. That's exactly why I'm worried. We've done Kepa and Reyes so much now. Start Estupiñán or Watkins. I would start Estupiñán. If Rashford is out for 37, you're looking at other Man United mids as well. Probably not, because I don't think it completely nails someone like Sancho. So I doubt it. I guess I could be tempted, but I'd probably just go for Grealish. Better game week 38 than City. Anthony maybe. But Anthony's not even... I mean, everyone's minutes goes up if Rashford's out, of course. But what if he's back for 38? Casemiro has decent XGI. Not happening. Tom, I've done March to McAllister, Mings to Botman, Isak captain. Do I start Grealish, Rashford, Watkins, or Henry? I guess you probably go Watkins for the guaranteed start. I don't know. I kind of am of the opinion that everyone else has, that Rashford will either be on from the start or just not play at all. It's just that slight risk. Someone tell me Rashford's not going to start, please. Please just let me know. I'm sure if there was team news, like it would be everywhere. It would be everywhere. Yeah, like Anthony's got a good chance of starting twice, but they could do something like Sabitzer number 10, Fernandes on the right, Sancho on the left. Like, it could happen. Is getting a Newcastle striker in for Watkins this week more important, or having 2 free transfers going into 38 more important? Tricky one. It all comes down to captaincy. If you're happy to captain someone else, then I would probably go for the 2 free transfers. But I'd be very tempted just to target this Leeds game. It is a way, though. I mean, is there a world where Leeds keep the score down? Possibly. If you want some confirmation bias the other way. We're all benching Rashford except for me. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look too bad, does it? This would be it. Maybe I should bench. I don't know. The thing is, you just look like an idiot if he starts, right? Because it's such a good fixture. I don't think Edison will come in, no. Even though I've been banging on about it, as you say. Start Estupiñán or Stones. I would probably start Estupiñán. The Antonio crush continues, absolutely. Genre, member for 1 month, thank you very much. Matt, Edison to Pope -4 could outperform in 37. No, I wouldn't do that, to be honest. Play Rayo or Edison. I'm going to say Edison. On 3 Newcastle defenders, is it worth a -4 for Isak to protect rank? If you want to captain, I think most people can afford to bring Isak in for a -4 if it means you're going to captain him. You could use that as your justification. I think that's fine. I think that's perfectly fine and an adequate excuse to do it. Start Shaw, Grealish or Mitrovic. I don't know if Mitrovic is available now. You've still got Mitrovic. How do you have Mitrovic, honestly? There's no guarantee he starts, though, right? They could ease him back in. He's not been injured, obviously. I would probably start Grealish. 5Z, for a team with 1 free transfer, 3 million in the bank, and only Murphy from Newcastle, is 4.1 to Isak or Wilson better, or A2, 3.8 to Trippier's share, Botman, and either way is B, March to Willock for a hit worth it, otherwise no bench. If you got... Well, I wouldn't do March to Willock if you're just going to bench Willock. I wouldn't do that. Especially if you got Lindelof. He might start today. I would probably do the 4.1 to Isak, I think. March and Alvarez to Isak and Murphy have 2 free transfers. Yeah, don't mind that. I'd maybe get Willock instead of Murphy. I don't know. Murphy should start. I think he started 4 of the last 5. So he could get 2 starts. Willock's more likely, though, I think. -4 for McAllister or play Shaw/Rashford. I mean, if the other part of the hit also benefits you, I would probably take it. Because obviously you got the Rashford injury. Shaw could keep a clean sheet, I guess. I'd be tempted to take it because McAllister gets you 4 games in the next 2. Why suggest free hit in 38 instead of 37? I mean, if you need it in 37, then yeah, obviously you should use it in 37. But most people have got a team which covers it already, so just don't need it. Start Trent or Odegaard. I think that's a tricky one. I think I would start Odegaard, but I wouldn't want to bench Trent either. I really wouldn't be. I'm really struggling to bench Trent this week. Have Rashford, Edouard, March, Grealish need a -8? Not necessarily. Didn't you also... I'm sure I already answered the question for you about a -8, and I wasn't quite sure you needed it. Raya to Kepa for a -4? Absolutely not. Raya or De Gea? I would play De Gea. Johnston versus Bournemouth or Kepa versus Forest? Kepa, I think. Can't reach Mac 10 due to funds. Best replacement for March. If you want to stick with Brighton, it's got to be Buonanotte, and I'm not convinced by him as a pick. Otherwise, you just go to Willock, I think, for Newcastle. Raya to Kepa for -4 again. Nope. Aaron, thank you very much. Xander Red, 9-month member, thank you very much. Bench which one? Foden, Trent or Dunk? Foden, I think, yeah. Still have triple captain. Who and when do I use it? Probably Haaland in 37. David, new member, thank you very much. Gavin, 8 months member, thank you very much. Got 2 free transfers. Nice. March to Gilmore. Nope. Tony to a cheap forward, game week 37, and Diaz and someone else to a cheap defender, and another to maximise on 38. What? March to Gilmore, no. Tony to a cheap forward in game week 37, and Diaz and someone else to a cheap defender, and another to maximise on 38. I'm a bit confused what you mean there. I don't know if I'm just reading that wrong, but I don't really get it. March to I don't get the idea of buying Gilmore. I don't know why you need to do Tony to a cheap forward if it's not going to benefit, if you don't need the money this week. And I'm not sure what the cheap defender in game week 38 means either. Unless I'm just completely reading that wrong. Start Shaw, Solanke or Rashford. Probably Solanke. DJR, thank you very much. JB, I've already got triple Newcastle, triple Brighton, and triple United with McAllister, and I have 2 free transfers. Any idea what to do? Want to keep Trent? Burn a transfer, downgrade a goalkeeper, sell Trent, and just hope for the best. I mean, there's probably not much else you can do. You could sell Rashford and bring him back if you've got enough money to do that. It's another potential opportunity. But obviously, the issue is if you sell Rashford, then you need to get him back and something else happens. It's a tricky position, but you could think about that. Game week 37, Grealish to Bruno, Isak to Alvarez, or Rashford to Bruno. Honestly, unless this impacts your decisions this week, I really wouldn't be worrying too much about game week 37, because if Rashford's fit or not is really going to decide your move, right? If Rashford's not fit, then yeah, you might as well sell him. If he is, and you do the other one. Have I ever considered coming to South Africa? Maybe at some point. I mean, I got to be honest, I haven't really travelled anywhere, so it ain't a South Africa thing. It's just a me thing. Start Mahrez, Rashford, or Shaw. I'd be tempted to start Mahrez and hope he starts. Jesmer, March to McAllister, yes. Watkins to Isak, yes. Grealish to Mahrez for a -4. I wouldn't do the -4. I'd probably just start Grealish. Mitch, Mo captain over a double game week. Good luck. Good luck. Zubin, thank you. Adita, go and see some Willock instead of Isak and McAllister. Like, Isak and McAllister are much better than Enciso, and Willock. No, I don't want Shaw. I don't have Shaw ahead of SGP. I don't even really want to play Trent ahead of SGP now, so I'm definitely not playing Shaw ahead of him. Start Robertson or Estepinian. Benching Steele and Dunk for Martinez and Mings. Thoughts? Benching Steele and Dunk for Martinez and Mings. Nope, don't really get it. I would probably play the doublers in that case. Like, Kane's going to score, isn't he? Mahrez or Rashford to Joe Linton for a -4. I would say neither. I would just play Mahrez. Josh, thank you very much. If you have to do one, I would sell. I feel like out of those two this week, you'd have to sell Rashford, which is why I don't like it. Already on a -4, take another hit or play Patterson. I'd be tempted to take another -4 if it's going to benefit you like this week and next as well. How about Gross instead of Mitoma as I'm chasing rank? The problem is you could be chasing more rank by making that move. I mean, Gross could easily just play right back again. So you got a right. You basically decide on a right back versus a left winger. I haven't saved this, by the way. I haven't clicked save team. I'm not sure about it. This is the actual team. Oh, Rashford, you're killing me. I don't want to bench him. Why doesn't someone else? There's so many people out there that already know the team news. Tired today. Already on a oh no, done that one. Start Evan Ferguson or Shaw. I'd probably take the risk on Ferguson. Sushil got 2 transfers in McAllister for March. Does it make sense for Rashford to Grealish for the upcoming game weeks, or just bring in Willock? I would just probably bring in Willock or just keep Rashford. Want to bring in Saka or Martinelli, who is better? I would always go Saka, I think. Saka and Steele to McAllister and Pope for -4. I mean, you're gaining 1 fixture. I'd probably rather just keep Saka and Steele, I think. I don't know. It's a tight one because you get McAllister as part of it. You not got another way to bring him in. Josh, thank you very much. Tune Chums, 21 months member. Thank you very much. Alvarez to a Newcastle striker for a -4 if captaining. If you yes, I guess so. If you're really not happy captaining anyone else, yeah. Who's more dangerous, Mahrez or Grealish? I think Mahrez has got more chance of starting this week. If that helps. Do you know what? Right, if let's say Estepinian was like injured or something, and this was my bench, I would definitely play Rashford. I would definitely play him. But because Estepinian is first bench, he's got 2 fixtures. If Rashford cameos for 10 minutes, that's going to be an absolute killer, and I got no one to blame but myself. It's so tough. So tough. Rashford's 25%. I know. It's all based on what was said yesterday. No team news. No team news so far. I need to actually. Who was the account? Oh yeah. Let's see what the account. I'm going to follow the account that leaked it last week. So the person that leaked it last week about Isak and Wilson, someone in the FPL community asked them whether they're going to talk about the team again before the deadline. He said, "I don't get team news every week, and it can vary. Most of the time, it's only an hour before." So I think that's the main person we're waiting on. Obviously, most people are like they're not looking for Newcastle news week to week. Wilson in for Watkins. I would if he starts, yeah. And thank you very much, Rory. I have 2 free transfers. Have 3 Brighton, City, Newcastle. Grealish to Mahrez, Grealish to Fernandes, Ake to Diaz or Stones. Get rid of Kepa. Oh my god. I think my initial instinct is that Grealish to Fernandes is the move there. Who had a bet with me that Grealish was going to outscore Fernandes, by the way? It must be pretty close since game week 31. I think my instinct is Grealish to Fernandes, but I don't think you... yeah. Grealish to Fernandes, probably. It's not only because I think there's a chance he gets benched today, but it's not. I don't think it's a big chance. It's a tricky one, really. Your team's too good, basically, Rory. It's too good. In FPL, the key is to have a bad team so that you've always got something to do. Yeah, Foden could play. I don't know if Grealish needs a rest, though. That's the thing. But like someone said earlier, he might not need a rest, but does he need to play? Maybe not. Maybe not. Rashford on the bench just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Any tips for the Eurovision Song Contest? It's going to be a nightmare because my next door neighbour is proper into it. Like, proper into it. Every year, they basically have a freaking party. That's going to be a nightmare. Otherwise, no, I'm probably not going to watch it. So I have no idea. I don't even know who's in it, apart from countries from Europe. What happened to the spider last week? I don't know. Probably just chilling out, max and relaxing, all cool. I don't know. Zerziz... McAllister, I've definitely pronounced that wrong, so I apologise. McAllister, Mahrez and White for March, Rashford and Stones for a -4. Or should I just do March to McAllister and save one transfer? I think March to McAllister makes more sense, to be honest. If Haaland is benched, then Alvarez for Watkins -4. I mean, maybe, but you're not going to find out if Haaland's benched before the deadline, to be honest, because the game's tomorrow. So I would just play Haaland. Australia, I thought Australia were just in it for 1 year. They just in it all the time now. They just love Eurovision, don't they? That's why. Why are you so low on Shaw? I'm not low on Shaw. I'm just higher on my other players. Like, who would I play Shaw ahead of? I think there is a good chance for a clean sheet. I agree. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm not really worried about Rashford, because I've got such a good bench. Kangai, 18 months, thank you very much. Greenwood to Wilson and Robertson to Gabriel for a hit. If you've already got Isak, I probably wouldn't do that, to be honest. Have a nice. March and Andreas out for McAllister and Willock/Murphy. Not sure which is more likely to start. I'd probably just get Willock. A -4 just to bench Rashford. If you've got no other bench, then I would do that, yeah. Trent to Stones to set up a triple Man City next week. If you've got nothing else to do, I don't think it's a completely bad transfer, but I would honestly try and do something else. Like, the March injury really helped me out with Trent. I've got to be honest, because I probably would be sitting here right now thinking about selling Trent, and it'd be horrible. You wanted to sell Alvarez for Isak, but you sold Haaland by accident. Surely not. You didn't do that. Oh, my days. Surely not. It's pronounced Xerxes. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Xerxes. Now, I will try and get that right next time. S-Jam. Little devil face there. Thank you very much. Wilson owner, if not in the starting lineup, would you still captain? Nah, I don't think so. But the thing is, if he's not in the Leeds lineup, like, there has to be a chance he then also doesn't play. There is a chance that he also doesn't play Brighton, right? So I don't think you can captain. Wilson should only be captain if he's starting today, in my opinion. Lewis, is it worth taking another -4 from McAllister to replace March for a total of -12, as I only have 3 mids because of the Rashford injury? Yeah, it probably is, yeah. Although whether or not you needed a -12 in the first place, I'm not sure, but I'm sure you had the reasons. You always say back to double game week. I know! I'm a fraud. I'm an absolute fraud. I get it. It's fine. Unsubscribe. I'm a fraud. I've gone back on my word. By the way, we're only 60 subscribers away from 340k. So, you know, if you wanted to hit subscribe, that'd be great. James, thank you very much. Will Man United bottle top 4? I am so worried about top 4. And Rashford being out, potentially, is really bad. It's really bad. Liverpool must be loving it right now, honestly. I'm a bit worried about... If Man United don't get top 4, that's a disaster. Disaster season. When am I on Sky Sports News? Never, I assume. Never. I don't know if I'm going to get... Like, I'm probably personally not going to get any Newcastle news. Obviously, I'm on the lookout in case anyone tweets about it, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good. How many... Oh, that's a good question. How many players do I think will have over 100% effective ownership? So Trippier, definitely. He'll be captained by enough people to put him over 100. He's been close. Haaland will, because he just always is. I think Isak will get close, and that will be it. I think Newcastle defensive ownership in general might push close to 200%. Yeah, look, again, there might be news. Oh, interesting. There might be news, but I don't know if we're definitely going to get it. I love the way people say, is there going to be a team league? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. If you had to sell Trent to Diaz Stones to fund March to Mac 10, would you do it? Both free transfers. I'd be tempted, yeah, because of the double next week. I would be tempted if that's my only way. I'm not saying I would like to do it, but I'll be tempted. Jandra Edouard March to Ferguson, Odegaard, Martinelli for a -4. Yeah. Can you not do March to McAllister? No. Nunez out for Jota or Jesus. I would go Jesus. I think best Man City defender for the rest of the season. I mean, it's a weird one. If I was buying this week, I would probably buy Diaz because I think he's pretty safe for minutes. And because I slightly worry about Stones and his injury record. But if I'm buying next week, I'll probably buy Stones over Diaz. I think if I've got to buy a City defender this week and then watch them play 2 games before we get to the game week 37 deadline, I think I'd rather have Diaz. But I think if next week if I'm buying a defender, I'll probably buy Stones. I have Rashford, Grealish, Dalot, bring in Bruno. Yeah, Bruno's great. Pick one option: Raya to Pope, Robertson to Share, Greenwood to Alvarez, Rashford to Fernandes, or Roll. I'd be tempted by Raya to Pope, but I guess it really depends what the knock-on effect that is for the next few weeks in terms of transfers. I'd say Raya to Pope or just Roll. S-Jam, is this worth a -8? I don't have any Man United players for next week and only 3 Brighton and Haaland doubles for 37. So for this week, a -8, Saka to Bruno and Watkins and Jesus for Isak and Wilson. I don't think it's worth a -8. No, I'd just do Watkins to one of the Newcastle players and just roll, I think. -2 short for March to McAllister. Other than that, I got the same team as you. Thoughts on transfers to make the Mac A move happen? I think you're either doing Trent to a City defender, or if you really don't want to get rid of Trent, you're downgrading the goalkeeper. I think that's the only 2 options, to be honest. There's not really any other moves I like. There's no one else I'm really looking to sell in this team. Daz, thank you. Sumrick, spill the beans. Well, I'm waiting to see if we get any... See, this is why you got to be careful. You know when I said that's interesting, right? It's because I got I got a DM that said Wilson starts, right? Now don't lose your cool a second. Let me tell the rest of the story. Then I said, okay, that's interesting. And then they said not sure on Isak, and then they said this is my opinion, but I don't believe I'm wrong. So this is why I don't just read every single DM I get as soon as I get it. Because imagine if I'd said, oh, this person, yeah, Wilson starts. So I still don't have any team news. But it's... yeah. My days. Amazing. Amazing. Chicken nuggets. You think Isak's going to be benched as well? I feel like that's the least likely scenario, but... You think Leeds will defend well? Maybe, but it is Leeds. They are pretty bad. Only have 2 Newcastle players, Isak and Trippier. Who's the third best Newcastle player to get, not including Wilson? Probably Cher, I would say, yeah. Otherwise, Willock. The BBC Sports fantasy football tips are always so similar to yours. Does he copy you or vice versa? I can tell you, I'm not getting my tips from the BBC Sports fantasy football tips page. But like at the end of the day, there's only so much stuff you can do every week. Only so many players you can talk about, etc. Right? No, ignore the thing I said about Wilson, right? That's not a leak whatsoever. That's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. Honestly. Wilson may well start, but not based on that. Play Watkins, Shaw, Grealish, probably Watkins. Solanke or Shaw to start. Solanke, Vagabond, Matthew, thank you very much. Vagabond, Trent out for Trippier or Gabriel out for Cher. I'd probably just do Gabriel to Cher, I think. Okay, Gavin, here we go. March and Diaz for Matoma and Kivior. I'm going to say yes. The only caveat is Kivior looks good for starts, but Rob Holden is just waiting there. So could he maybe start at some point? Possibly. I think Matoma is better than Diaz, basically. Start Grealish or Shaw. Grealish may come on for one. I don't think it's that likely. I'd probably start Grealish. If you want to be absolutely certain of a start, though, you go for Shaw. I don't really want to discuss what I do if Isak's bench because I'm not quite sure. I guess I've probably panicked to a Brighton defender attacker, even though I said that I would probably captain Trippier. Watkins to Isak Wilson or Veltman to Estepinian. Watkins to Isak, I think. Start Steele or Edison. You got to go with a double game week. Start Watkins, Shaw, Grealish, Watkins, I think. If Isak is bench, who would you captain? Would you change? I wouldn't captain Isak if he's not starting today. That's for sure. Excuse me. I'd probably go to Trippier or Matoma. I'm not 100% sure who I'd go for. I'm not 100% sure. Why Kepa over Edison? I'm just going for the home game. Come on, Kepa and Edison's not my biggest concern right now. Do I bench Rashford? Why are we worried about Newcastle? I'm more worried about Rashford. Am I from Bristol? I was born in Bristol. I never lived there though. I lived 20 miles south there. So I don't quite. I have like a bit of a West Country twang, but I don't. I'd probably say, fortunately, I don't have the full Bristol slang like most of my family. Twang, not slang. All right, me lover, as my nan used to say. All right, you all right? I do say all right though. Right, do we start Rashford or not? Do we start Rashford or not? Do a poll on what? I live in street. Oh, I thought you said live in a street near from where I grew up, not live in street. How long do we wait on news? I think give it. I would probably give it till 5 minutes before, to be honest, because I don't think the website's going to crash. But I guess it's a bit of a risk. Chaz member for 1 year. Thank you very much. Start Diaz or Shaw. I'd probably start Shaw. Steele or Kepa. Steele. I would start Steele. I wouldn't worry too much about him. If I bench Rashford and he started, I wouldn't want him not to score. I mean, I guess I would want Man United to win. If Rashford doesn't score, happy days. But I would be annoyed if Rashford scores. Rashford poll. Okay, yeah, I could do a poll on Rashford. Kepa or De Gea? I'd probably go De Gea, I think. -4 to upgrade a bench player. Not sure on Diaz starts. Probably not. Unless you're absolutely sure none of your bench are going to play, I would just risk it, to be honest. 74% saying bench. I wonder how many of these people own Rashford though. Most of them probably. He's quite highly owned. Oh, it does look does look pretty good. Solanke to Ferguson. I don't know if Ferguson's that much better than Solanke this week, to be honest. I'd be tempted just to roll that transfer. Shaw, Botman, Trippier, Estepini and White. Pick 3. For this week, well, I would go the 3 double game weekers. Mac 10 versus Grealish or Watkins. Who to start? Mac 10. Start Alvarez or Rashford. I'd say Alvarez. Don't think we're getting any legit news. Yeah, possibly. Possibly not. Got 2 free transfers with a similar team to yours. I have no clue what to do. Not a single player I'm thinking of taking out, but burning a transfer. Yeah, I mean, there probably are some teams out there that could consider burning a transfer. I think a lot of it comes down to Trent. People are just too worried to sell him for good reason. Like you could do Trent to a City defender to prepare for next week, but I completely understand why most people don't want to do that. So in some cases, maybe burning a transfer is okay if you're really not comfortable getting rid of Trent, which is, and again, absolutely fair. I get it. I do get it. Doing to be the one that... we're on 340,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. What happened to Thursday streams? They haven't been a thing for like 2 years. The problem is, it's just a lot. The Thursday streams usually a lot of repetitiveness. I know there's always crossover in videos, but the stream on Thursday I don't think really added too much. Maybe if there's a midweek deadline and stuff like that, or the game week finishes on a Wednesday or Thursday, it's a bit different. But I wouldn't see it coming back. I already do enough stuff, I think. Vizican. Oh no, just another one. Thank you very much, by the way, for 2 months. If I didn't say that already. 340k, nice. Now we've got to get 400k next season. That's the target. I'd like to get 500k in 2 seasons' time. That's 500,000 in 2 seasons. That would be good. Oh my god. What do you mean team news? I'm not seeing anything. Oh my days! My day. Anyway, no news. No news. Yeah, not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. Don't be posting fake news in the chat either. Ever seen the sea at Western Supermarket? I mean, I literally lived there for years and years, so yeah, of course. Oh, I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. But yeah, of course. Not very often, though. On the way to 500,000, I remember how happy you were at 1k. I mean, 500,000 just sounds mad. I mean, 400k is obviously great. But 500,000, whew. It's going to take another 2 seasons at least. Maybe even 3. There's no team news. There's no early teams. I know. I wish I had it. I wish I had a good Newcastle source for you to put you out of your misery. Thoughts on leaks ruining the game? Lots of talk on Twitter about moving the deadline to kickoff. They should just do that. Yeah, they should just do that. Alan Shearer is starting over Isak. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. I'm feeling pretty calm about. I'm not that. It's Rashford's killing me. If Estepinian didn't have a double, I would just start Rashford. I don't know. Am I looking forward to the season ending? Yeah. Not like I just can't wait. I need to get it over with, but it's always nice to cap a season off and then get looking forward to the next one. What would you do if you win FPL? I'd milk it for all it's worth. Nah, 1 season's not enough for 500k. Trust me, it's going to take at least 2. At least 2. Start Shaw or Dunk, I think. There's no other team news. Not seen anything. Nothing about... We're not going to get Man City anyway. Nothing about City. Nothing about... Nothing about Man City, Man United, or Newcastle. Western half marathon tomorrow. Good luck. 13 miles so far. Start Estepinian versus Trent. I'm going to go for Trent over Estepinian, but I'm torn on Rashford versus Estepinian. If he cameos, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. It's what I'm currently on, though. I think deep down I know I should probably bench Rashford. I just can't bring myself to do it. If Andy Martin's team news, he probably is on the wind-up yet. Bench one of Solanke, Saka or Shaw. Probably Shaw out of those. Which two to start? Stones, Grealish, Shaw or Watkins? Probably Watkins and Grealish. Shaw ahead of Stones on the bench, I would say. If you have an exceptional FPL next season, it could drive subs. But you need to have an exceptional FPL season, either really good, like top 1k, or you need to get high up early on. So for the second season running, I've had like a pretty good end to the season, but it's not enough for the subscribers. You need to have it like right at the start. I'd love to hit like number 1 after 10 game weeks. That'd be huge. Huge. Even if you don't stay there. Steel or Kappa? I have Estepinian also. Double up. Steel, yeah. I'll go Steel. There's no news, people. There's no news. If there was, I would promise I would be telling you. Yeah, Team News and Ticks have just tweeted and said, no Newcastle from me. Hopefully someone else has it. The person that told me about Haaland, all the Man City stuff the last couple of games, said they don't get Newcastle news, so that's not happening. They said they probably will get Man United news, but not before the deadline. Not before the deadline. Oh, and they've just messaged me saying no news, I'm afraid. So we're not getting anything. So nothing from Man United, unfortunately. Instead, this year you went into game week 10 having captain Salah for 2 points over Haaland 23. I know, and yet I'm still like 40k. Think of all those extra points I've given people. I've tried to give people a head start, you know. That's just the kind of guy I am. Matthew, 9 months. Thank you very much. Start De Gea or Kappa? De Gea, I think. Start Mahrez. Yeah, in most situations I would. I would chill with the super chats now, by the way, because I'm probably going to miss some because the panic of whether to start Rashford or not. -4 to bring Bruno now for Jota. 2 free transfers final game week. I wouldn't be taking hits to make sure you've got 2 free transfers for 38. It's not really how it works, you know. You're essentially using points just to buy extra transfers, so I would just wait. Start Rashford, Martinelli or Stones. Martinelli. Start which? Martinelli, Estepinian, Stones, Alvarez. I'd probably start a double game weeker. Play 1, bench 2. Grealish, Estepinian, sure. I'd play Estepinian. Buy Buonanotte, Iwobi or McNeil. I'd probably take a risk on Buonanotte, I think. I'm just starting Kepa because it's the home fixture. It's not much more to it than that, really. Not much more to it than that. I think it's quite funny that we haven't got team news, to be honest. I did say this is a possibility. I'm just checking the person that leaked it last week. Looks like. Nothing so far. I don't think we're getting news for what it's worth. So if you're waiting for it, you could be waiting a long time. I honestly think you buy Isak over Wilson if we don't get any news, but that's just me. What do we do with Rashford? Okay, what do we do with Rashford? What was the poll? The poll was like 74%. It's an absolute nightmare. I don't think I can bench a double game weeker for an injury doubt. But what if he starts? What if he starts? It's gonna kill me if he starts. Do 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 do. I don't know if Rashford is definitely out. Ten Hag did make it sound like that though, didn't he? Rashford in goal. He said doubtful. He was asked how confident he was. He said doubtful, more than doubtful. He's a big question mark. I don't know. There's no news where I can say, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. It's just nothing. Grealish or Rashford, who'd start? I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna say Grealish. I don't know if he starts either though. I'm gonna say Grealish. He could be benched for Foden though. Romano, I don't know. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm going to say Grealish. Right, I think I'm going to... Oh, I can't bench Rashford. I hate FPL. Honestly, I hate it. It's such a rubbish game. I think I'm going to bench him, yeah. It could just go horribly wrong, though. Like, horribly wrong. Start Grealish or Shaw. I think I would start Grealish ahead of Shaw. I've told a lot of people to bench Luke Shaw. This is a non-event. He won't play. No, I'm not benching Trent. Benching Trent's now the least of my concerns. Start... Kepa or Raya? I'm going to say Kepa, but honestly, if you want to start Raya, go for it. There's not much in it. So the person that leaked Isak and Wilson starting last week still hasn't tweeted, and we've got less than 2 minutes to go. We've got 1 minute and 34 seconds. Well done saying what we all feel about this. It is a stupid game. It is a stupid game. Shaw getting a 15-pointer. He could well do. Could well do, yeah. Shaw or Diaz. I'd start Shaw ahead of Diaz. I think I would do like Trent ahead of Shaw, but Shaw ahead of most other defenders this week that aren't doubling, I think. Like roughly. I'm sure there's someone I've missed, but something like that. Okay, I'm just going to... Oh, I think I'm going to bench Rashford. I think I'm going to bench him. I'm going to captain Isak. Imagine if Isak doesn't start. I don't even want... I'm pretty confident that Isak starts, but without the early news, there is now going to be a little bit of worry ahead of whatever the team sheet. Why couldn't someone just DM me the news? So much easier when you have early team news. I think he meant to say doubtful more than hopeful. No, I don't. I think he said it correct. Oh, I've benched Rashford. I'm not happy at all. I'm not happy. Imagine if Isak doesn't start now. I am absolutely in the mud. Absolutely in the mud. I've been so confident about a start. I don't even want to see any leaks now. I want to wait till the team sheet. Amazing. So we've actually had to make some decisions for ourselves. Did anyone buy Wilson over Isak without team news? That'd be interesting, where you could only go for one. By the way, before you all rush off, if you have enjoyed that stream, make sure to give it a like, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, before everyone runs away like they always do at the end of a stream. A few people did. Interesting. Oh yeah, well if you bought Wilson and you've got Isak, that's different, right? I'm wondering about people that bought Wilson and don't have Isak. Interesting that. Oh, I'm more worried about the Man United lineup, to be honest. I'm much more worried about Rashford. You've got Wilson and Isak. Kyle, nice 8 months member. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm worried about Rashford. I'm worried about Wilson. I think that's my main two worries. I think everything else will probably be okay. Oh, I can't believe I've benched Rashford. That is a big worry. I'm worried. I don't think there's any. I don't know if Newcastle defensive ownership is over 200%. That'd be annoying, but I don't think it will. I think it could be close though, just because Trippier captains. Probably not though. Probably not that much. Oh, Rashford. I'd love it, by the way, if Isak starts and Wilson doesn't. I think they'll both play again. I don't think it was bad enough. Like there's a lot of fans that don't play FPL that I've seen predicting Wilson to be on the bench, but I think some of that is an overreaction because of what happened against Arsenal. They were up against a really good team that won the game. If Newcastle had scored in the first 5 to 10 minutes, that game could have been completely different. I was never playing Shaw over Estepinian, to be honest with you. So I'm not really worried about that. It could, Shaw could absolutely outscore Estepinian, but I wasn't willing to take that risk, to be honest with you. All right, well that is it. So on Sunday we have the penultimate. No wait, yeah, the penultimate knee-jerk stream. That's all I'm going to say next week. This happens every season. Every video I'll be like, this is the penultimate Gameweek preview. This is the penultimate team selection. And also, I'll have to argue with people on Sunday about how it is the penultimate stream, even though they'll think it isn't, because I'll be doing one on the Sunday after the season finishes, but that won't be a knee-jerk stream. So I'm looking forward to that. Isak said in an interview that he prefers Isaac over Isak. No, did he? I've just learned how to say it the other way. I kind of want to stick around for the team news, but unfortunately it's another half an hour to get official news, unless Rockstar says something at 1:15. I might. I wonder if Rockstar's. I wonder if he's around. If Rockstar's around and tweeting at 11:15, I'll wait. But if not, I don't want to wait till 11:30. Why have I benched Rashford, by the way? No, I don't want to be. Imagine if Isak's benched. I'm in the actual mud. I'm in the actual mud. Mrs. watching Coronation Street on a Saturday morning. Nice. Nice. How hinted at Isak and Wilson starting together? I wouldn't say he hinted at it, but obviously he's literally done it now, so it's a possibility, yeah. I mean, I think it will happen. I think they'll both start. And maybe not for Brighton, but again, could be completely wrong. Our work is never over. I hope Isak starts both. I hope he does. All right, I think Rockstar's gonna leak the team at 11:15, or at least put Isak and Wilson out. So I'm gonna wait until 11:15. But if it doesn't come at 11:15, then I'm going off. But I'm gonna have to quickly go to the bathroom. So you're gonna have to give me a sec. I'll be back in just a minute. Would be funny if you forgot to press mute. I'm a pro streamer. I wouldn't forget that kind of thing. Surely I could definitely forget that kind of thing. Sunbathing in the glorious Galway sunshine. It is a nice day today, yeah. It is a nice day. Do 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 do. Okay, Rockstar's on for 11:15. He's on for 11:15. Oh, I better tweet my team actually. Let me just quickly tweet this. Roll the other transfer. Rational. March to Mac 10. Roll the other transfer. Rasher bench. Alright. I'm having a bad end of the season, but I'm still on course for my best ever FPL season. Boom. That's all it's about. It's a bit like Trippier smashed it in the first half, not so good right now. FPL seasons can be like that, right? Mine was really bad in the first half. Now it's not so bad. Loz went for it. 14 points behind in a 20-man £1,000 mini league. Wilson captain and no Isak. Might be one spot down or 8 to 9 after this game week. Yeah, could work. Could work. Calling him Mac 10 is so cringe. I'm sorry. Jacob, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I really am. I'll try better. Oh god! Imagine if Isak's benched. Surely not. He's their best attacker, isn't he? I am worried about it. This is what FPL does to you, right? I'm so confident Isak starts, but because this is FPL, I'm like panicking. If I didn't play FPL, I'd be like, yeah, of course Isak starts. Why wouldn't he? At what rank will I be happy with at the end of the season? I don't know, really. Let's see how this week goes. Top 25k will probably be pretty good. Do I watch Ted Lasso? I haven't watched any of it, no. Maybe I should. Asp is more annoying. Asplaqueta, Asp. Doodle-doodle-doo-doo. Doodle-doo-doodle-doodle-doo-doo. Leeds 1-0. That would be funny. That would be funny. Let's be honest. People love Ted Lasso, yeah. I was listening to the Peter Crouch podcast the other day. I got about halfway through their Ted Lasso episode, so maybe I should watch it. Yeah, I got the game is updating, yeah, because it's updating. I just haven't refreshed this page. I just haven't refreshed this screen. That's why it still shows up. If I refresh it, it'll go, but obviously I don't want to do that. Still can't believe no one spoke about Haaland captain. I know. I guess there's a chance his minutes are slightly reduced today. Probably not, but... imagine if Rashford... I don't want to know any of the lineups today. I'm getting nervous. I'm really nervous about this. We get 4 minutes. Oh my god. You said you were born in Bristol. Did you live in Oxfordshire? Nope. I live 20 miles south of Bristol in Western-super-Mare. Proper West Country. The only other time I ventured out was when I went to uni up north, but never anywhere near Oxfordshire. Big Sam Masterclass. It would be funny, yeah. It would be funny. It happens, though. It happens. You smashed your personal best this season. Nice. Now you got to do better next. That's the problem with FPL. Then you got to do better next season. It gets hard then. Doodle-doodle-doo. Western-super-Mare massive. Exactly. Why did I think you were Irish? Well, because I live in Ireland, so... But people must be able to hear the accent, right? I've lived in Ireland for a long time now. 11 years. The game's updated, yeah. The deadline was 12 minutes ago. I guess people are a bit... they're kind of wondering because I'm still streaming. Usually I go straight away, but I think this time we have to wait. I'm not happy about it, though. I'm not happy. Wife is Irish, yeah. Is top 1 million for a first-time FPL player good? Yeah. As long as you're happy. You should just be happy with the rank you've got. I wouldn't, start worrying about what everyone else is. People have just got different aims, I guess. And, those aims change depending on what... how the start of the season goes and stuff like that. Nikhil took a -8. Share, March, Watkins, Solanke out. Tarkovsky, Mitoma, Isak, Wilson in. Wilson captain, chasing 40, defending 5 in min-league. Oh, good luck. Good luck. You're the second most famous person from Western after John Cleese. I'm not sure about that. There's a lot of... I'm trying to think of who else is from Western. I'm topping my min-league, but still captain Wilson over Isak because I reckon he'll get more points. Well, that is the only aim, really. The most points. Oh, here we go. 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. I should have a deadline for Rockstar's announcement. Content over the summer, yes, when FPL relaunches. Probably not too much before that. Why aren't that? 1 minute to go. Oh, imagine if Wilson starts and Isak doesn't. Absolutely in the mud. Rockstar knows someone, I think, that gets like the media. We get the. Oh, I'm dreading for it. Isak needs a rest. So basically, the team news, the team sheets get tweeted out like an hour before, right? That's when everyone gets them. But the media get them 15 minutes before that, and he must know someone, basically. I would say. I assume that's how, or he knows someone that gets them off someone else, etc. You know. FPL's mad. 6,000 people watching you wait for a tweet. It's because people love pain and misery, so they want to see my reaction if Isak is benched. Oh, there we go. It's 11:15. It's 11:15. Come on, Rockstar. I would, if I wasn't playing FPL, I'd be very confident that Isak starts. I'd be very confident that Isak starts. That's why we all play FPL, for pain and misery. It's not because the game's fun. The game's rubbish, in fact. Oh, someone else just told me Wilson and Isak start and Almiron starts as well. I don't know if that's true. Thank you if it is. Greenwood starts for Leeds, apparently. Wow. I don't know if that's correct, though. If you were playing FPL, yeah. You wouldn't care, true. Greenwood starting is interesting. Yeah, Wilson and Isak both start. Yeah, a few different people have said that Isak and Wilson start. I think that is a bit boring, isn't it? I don't know if I want to... Maybe I shouldn't tweet about that. What if that's... Where's Rockstar? Now Wilson starts. Would you rather have Isak or Wilson? I still hope that Isak will come out on top because he will probably be more likely to also play Brighton. But they could both play both games, right? It's not ideal, though. Yeah, Isak and Wilson start. Rockstar's just confirmed, yeah. If Almiron's starting, then Murphy must be benched. Interesting. Yeah, Almiron's starting as well. Interesting. Okay. Well, basically it was what we kind of mostly expected, right? I was still hoping that Wilson wouldn't start, but... Oh god, I don't want to watch the Man United game now. I don't want to see the lineups anyway. All right, let's see what happens. I am worried about Wilson. Yeah, Wilson will be on penalties ahead of Isak. I'm almost certain. I actually saw the clip from the podcast the other day. Wilson was like, if someone else is on 2 goals, I'm taking the penalty. If I'm on 2 goals, I'm taking the penalty. Is basically what he said. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Come on, Isak, please. Oh, sugar. Please don't get smashed by Wilson. Could be an absolute nightmare. But yes, good luck to everyone that doesn't own Callum Wilson. Right, I'm off. Enjoy your weekend. See you later.